Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Today's video is going to be thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. I'm sorry, guys, I blanked out for a second there. Today we are doing the 2023 top 10s. This is on the 126-pound featherweight division, and we are going to discuss the guys that dropped out of the top 10 from last year. That's the first video for this division. Now, before we get into that, if you can smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So let's get into the featherweights. We start with the top guy at featherweight right now, which is, we start with the guys that dropped out lowest to highest. First off, we look at former WBO junior featherweight champ, Isaac Dogboe. Dogboe entered the year, I believe he was tied for 10th, which, guys, just a heads up, I'm not doing tied for 10th anymore. I'm giving it to the 10th spot to one sole person, and then I have a new video where it's the guys that are on the bubble. So I'm giving it to who I think is the most deserving fighter in the top 10. That's just a heads up. But anyway, back to Isaac Dogboe. So Dogboe, he went 0-2 this year. He essentially just dropped out due to losing. He fought for the vacant title, the vacant WBO title against Robeisy Ramirez back in April, and he fought hard. But he got outboxed and outworked and lost a clean unanimous decision. And then later in the year, he took on undefeated Nick Ball from the United Kingdom and lost another unanimous decision. So Dogboe just dropping out. He may or may not be on the bubble, the bubble video. But, Dogboe is a veteran of the sport at 29, and his highest ranking is number 10 by the WBC. We may or may not see Dogboe climb back into things. Next to drop out is former two-time world title challenger Michael Conlan from Ireland. Conlan was also tied for 10th coming into the year. He was also tied for 10th, and he dropped out of the top 10 after losing to Luis Alberto Lopez in May. He challenged for the IBF featherweight title and got knocked out, brutally knocked out in the 5th round of that fight. So he definitely dropped down in the top 10. And then he dropped out when he decided to move to 130, where he debuted and took on Jordan Gill and got beat again. So tough year for Michael Conlan. That's basically 3 knockout losses in 5 fights. I don't see him returning back to featherweight, but hopefully he can find himself and get back in the mix, because I've always said that I feel Michael Conlan is a world title talent, even though he's never been a champ. Next to drop out is former longtime WBC champion Gary Russell Jr., who previously was number 4. He basically dropped out due to inactivity, which, what a shock. But no, he hasn't fought since his January 2022 loss to Mark Magsayo when he lost the WBC title. So just his inactivity, plus we don't even really know which division he wants to fight at when he returns. He's 35 now. I do believe he's going to come back at some point, because he still talks shit about who he can and can't beat. But he definitely isn't a full-time fighter. Hasn't been for years. He was fighting once a year at best, and he's been out of action for almost 2 years now. So he dropped out because of that. Next to drop out is former WBC champion Mark Magsayo. Magsayo entered the year number 3. He did challenge for the vacant WBC interim title against Brandon Figueroa in March, and went toe-to-toe in a really good fight. A fight that I did feel he lost, but I felt it was close. The referees really scored it out of whack, giving Figueroa a one-sided decision. But Magsayo really showed his heart. He wasn't happy about suffering a second consecutive loss, and then he stated that probably moving to 130 because he felt like he'd be stronger there. He returned in December and scored a brutal knockout victory at 130 against some nobody to make a splash there. He's now ranked at that division, and I don't see him returning to 126 pounds. And then finally, the last guy to drop out is 28-year-old reigning, now the former featherweight and junior featherweight champ, but now the current WBO super featherweight champion, Emmanuel Navarrete. Navarrete entered the year as a WBO featherweight champ. He had the option to move up to 130 to fight for the super featherweight title against Liam Wilson, and he defeated Liam Wilson by a 9th round knockout. And then the WBO made him choose which division he was going to fight at, and he dropped the featherweight title almost immediately and fought the remainder of the year at 130 and has plans to move to 135. So basically, because he moved up, he was the previous number one. So we're going to have a new number one, and our top 5 is going to be vastly different than it was last year in this division because 3 of the top 5 dropped out. So, so that's pretty much it. That's the 2023 top 10s. These are the fighters that dropped out of the 126-pound featherweight division out of the top 10 from last year. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.